So as Paul's kind of explaining now how we're to view this current hardship, how we're to view this brokenness and maybe what God's doing in it or why, Paul starts with, did you catch that? He says there, I consider the sufferings of this present time. It's interesting because Paul is calculating. He's like writing it out and calculating it for his readers. I've counted the cost. I've considered the facts. And I'll tell you this firsthand, Paul's saying, any suffering we endure here is a small price to pay. Now here's the thing about Paul. He is not minimizing suffering. This is a man who endured 2 shipwrecks. He spent something like a full 24 hours in the ocean surviving on driftwood. It's 2 separate times altogether. He endured multiple beatings. He endured a stoning. He ultimately would lose his head for the gospel. He knew suffering. His back from the beatings he took would look like something out of the movies to us. But Paul has this clear vision of what's coming. And when we compare our current suffering to what's coming, Paul's saying it's so worth it. It's so worth it. And the example that Paul gives, Paul compares our current suffering and hardship to childbirth. Now, every self-respecting man knows it's dangerous to go down that road, right? Like every man knows that. Like we all know not to be like, oh yeah, you're pregnant, man. I had a broken arm. Remember how painful that was? You don't even go down that road. Oh, you broke your arm? How about 27 hours of labor, Jason? Okay, all right. And I only had a cracker and 1 ibuprofen the entire time. Oh, your kidney hurts? My kidney hurt for 9 months when your child made it its personal punching bag as I carried it. Ginger, she had a C-section for the twins and for Aubrey, and so, I got to be in there for that. And man, this is what I learned. Our ladies, they are so tough, and we all know that, but you especially know it when you go into something like that, because we're in this C-section. She's getting cut open, and there's one nurse who over and over again keeps asking me, are you okay? Like, are you okay? Like, why does she keep asking me if I'm okay? And then come to find out, Jill Fernandez will tell you that they assign nurses because we as men are so weak, we always like pass out and get sick. And all we have to do is sit there and rub their hand and say, good job. We can't even do that. There would be no children if it were up to us. We can't even handle it. So he's kind of, a little bold to go down the childbearing route. What's his point to comparing present suffering with birth pains? His point is that it's the pain of something that is so intense, and nobody knows how intense it is. One of the most intense pains a human can endure is the birth of a child. But in that pain, there is hope. In that pain, there's hope, because that pain is about to produce something that is so wonderful. One pastor says it this way: if you are in the hospital and you hear a woman groaning and crying out in pain, it makes all the difference in the world if that cry and pain is coming from the maternity ward, as opposed to that cry and pain coming from the oncology ward. It's all the difference in the world. Both are intensely painful. But one of them is bringing hope. It's producing hope. There's this light at the end of the tunnel. And so yes, life can be extremely hard as a Christian. But all of that pain, it's the birth pains. It's bringing something. It's producing in us hope. Something is coming that is so wonderful that is really too great for words. So we wait eagerly in the midst of these birth pains. We wait eagerly for the joy of deliverance when the King returns. We wait eagerly for fully transformed bodies. We wait for the day when God redeems these bodies that are scarred by sin, bodies that are tormented by disease, tormented by death, bodies that carry with them the weight of loss. We wait for Jesus to come, but he is coming. As painful as it is, these are birth pains. Your present sufferings may be immensely painful, but even, Christian, even your time now in the oncology ward, even that is a birth pain Verse 23, we wait eagerly for the redemption of our bodies.